I'm Jason Klom, and this is Comedy on Vinyl. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Comedy on Vinyl. My guest this week, Dan Schlissel. What are we talking about, Dan?
I think we're talking about everything, aren't we?
Yeah, sounds good to me. Hit me with it.
Boy, I don't even... When you start with everything, how do you even... Let me get my Encyclopedia Britannica out.
Mm-hmm. I assume when we're talking about comedy records, there are like three people, if I had them on here, that I consider them to be the Encyclopedia Britannica of comedy records. So, and you're one of them. So, you know.
I'm probably behind the other two. I know one of them, and I'm definitely behind him.
Uh-huh. Is the other one Dan Pasternak?
No, I was thinking Jeff Abraham.
Jeff Abraham, those are the two that I always think of. Yeah, those two and yourself are the three where I'm like, well, I'm not going to bother. They already know more than I do. But
you know, I wouldn't mind being on a panel with the three of you.
Yeah, that would be fun. Oh my god!
You know, maybe we'll save that for some other special occurrence of some sort.
Yeah, 4 weird nerds. It'll be a lot of fun. 4 very special nerds.
You'll have 4 views.
Mm-hmm.
Or it'll be in multiples of 4 because we'll just go back to it to refer.
Yeah. Of course. What's a record? Well, let's. I don't know what we're going to talk about. But what's a record that you maybe that I've never talked about on the show that you wish had come up?
Dear Lord, there's just so many good records. You have so many episodes that I think if I threw a dart at the board, I'd hit one of the ones you already covered.
Mm-hmm. There's a good chance.
We already, we talked Myron Cohen, we talked Lenny, I believe, and we talked Uncle Dirty.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
No, it was Rodney.
Rodney was the other one. Okay, right. All right, there we go.
So those are the 3 that I talked. But I mean, dear God, there's just so many good classic comedy albums.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'd pick. I started with the most obvious. I like the early, before Trouble with Ed Sullivan, Jackie Mason records a lot.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the titles because they're multi-word titles.
Yeah.
Like that. I want to leave you with the words of a great comedian. Me, I think is one of them.
Yep.
I like those records a lot. I'd want to re-listen to the Stiller and Mira records to decide if I wanted to talk about those. We just recently lost Jerry, and I just remember seeing him when I was a little kid on TV, the 2 of them, and just loving them. But I haven't really sat to revisit them since, even though they still both carry my respect.
Sure.
I would want someone to, I get Nichols and May academically, but I would want someone of the time to go, no, you don't understand the impact and how much different it was before.
Right. Yeah.
But unfortunately, the one person that I know of who's a real expert on that is not someone you can really easily talk to publicly without a massive amount of blowback.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'd lie if I didn't say I didn't want to reissue Bill Cosby Talks to Kids About Drugs. I mean,
Sure. It's a very special re-release. I mean, it's got a lot of. I'm a
snarky ass. I can tell you, I'm a snarky ass. But at the same time, it does have I think it was a Grammy winner too.
Oh wow! Okay.
So but I knew I'd be dancing a line if I picked that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not Tony by any stretch. I don't know what specific album I would pick. There's so many that mean so much to me.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Is there probably not. Is there a genre we haven't covered enough on here? Because, I mean, you got sketch, you got improv, you got musical comedy, you got straight stand-up, you've got your weird fucking spoken word shit, whatever the hell you want to call, Brother Theodore and all that stuff. It's weird.
Oh, he's a stand-up tragedian, isn't he, or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, that's about right, yeah.
Yeah. I like all of it. I don't really have a preference. I would say I like things that don't get a lot of love. Stand-up hogs the whole spotlight in comedy. So I don't, novelty tunes and you have your sketch groups, you have your improv groups, you have there's certain subgenres. I don't think that I know enough. I can't even remember her name. The transgender comic from the '60s. Like there's not enough things about that, and there's all sorts of new areas that you discover that you should have known about but didn't.
Yeah,
and different languages, different cultures. I mean, that Cliff Nesteroff book is really enlightening about Native Americans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And there's very little in that category out there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even when I was like, so is there an album do you want to concentrate on just to keep with the theme of the show? And he had a couple in mind, but he wasn't about to go out and say, well, I can't, like, this is not my thing. He was very, very gentle about it. He's like, I'm not going to say this is bad, but I will say it's not my thing. But I did pick it because it's out there and there is some native comedy on vinyl. So it does get a little harder if you're looking in the record, if you're looking in the actual physical record of this shit. There's not as much in certain. You're absolutely right. In certain areas, you're just kind of fucked trying to find it.
Well, yeah, like the whole HBO Caroline's improv TV generation. The albums aren't there because they were all on TV, and those TV specials are mostly unavailable.
Yeah.
So, like, good luck.
I'd like Richard Lewis to release his stuff on vinyl because that stuff's pretty great.
If I had the contact, I have the neuroses to relate.
Sure.
But if I had the contact, I'd pursue it.
I need to reach out to him again because he was down to do this podcast, which I think is okay to say because by the time we release this, the show's almost over entirely. Right. But I should reach out to him and also just be like, hey, why the fuck aren't your records out? Your records need, although he probably doesn't control them, it would be nice.
You put his people in touch with me.
Yeah, I could do that. I'm sure
I would pursue that in a heartbeat. Of course, by the time this airs, all my competitors will be,
right. It's making me think if genre-wise, there is not a lot of. I don't want to insult anybody by saying this. Not a lot of actual improv on vinyl, and there's a good reason for that because most of it would be shit. But if you did what you do, what a stand-up does, which is let's record our 3 sets or our 2 sets and cut it down to a record potentially. If they can only afford the 1 set, I get it. You do what you got to do, cut that down to 45 minutes. But there's not a lot of pure improv on vinyl, and that is something I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear somebody eating shit. Trying hard to make some comedy and like at least one of the tracks just to be a total fucking waste because that is the experience of improv. I think that would be good.
It would be, but the problem is you run into gradations of improv that most of the public doesn't know about.
Sure.
You have the comedy sports, you have the stage games, you have a whole variety of things that it makes it sort of tough to grab that essence. That's why the Second City records aren't really representative of and I'm talking about the vintage ones. They aren't fully representative of what the Second City did. And it's very tough back then it was impossible to afford the amount of tape.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that makes sense. There is something called the Bat, which is improv done exclusively in the dark. So it might as well be a live comedy record. You don't get to see a thing. And I feel like that would lend itself. If there's a group who is very good at doing the Bat, I would like to hear that as a record. That would be phenomenal.
That'd be an interesting pursuit.
Because I don't feel like pure improv is represented in comedy albums. That's where like so many people are like, well, podcasts are the new comedy albums. No, that's bullshit. But there is a ton of great improv in podcasts, and a lot of those people could, if they got their shit together, could make a good. Because I have one record that was made from a podcast, and I think it might be the only one. I'd like to change that one day, but I think it's the only record made from podcast material that I can think of.
Was that? Oh God, they're on TV, TBS. I can't think of their name.
Oh, might be somebody different. We're thinking of 2 different people. I'm thinking of the Comedy Bang Bang record, and that is which is interview style improv, but there's definitely improv on this 2-disc record that is insane and stupid and intentional.
I'm thinking the Tenderloins, but I'm not sure that they did that.
Okay.
I think they did a podcast record.
Okay. Yeah, see, there's just not a lot. There's not a lot. And I feel like that would be the closest you're going to get outside of, again, a Bat or something, where there was never any visual component to it. And I'd love to see it with beautiful art on the cover by, you know.
Right. There's that one ASCAT TV special.
Mm-hmm.
But they never made an album of that either, because I don't remember how much of that was visual at this point.
Right. Yeah, that becomes hard too. That becomes a real fucking hard part of it.
Yeah, I mean, the improv thing makes it tough in that way. I think that's why you have like the Nichols and May as close as you can approximate to what they did. But by the time you get it down well enough to record it, it's already scripted, you know?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time.
So,
which is great, but they're great sketches for the most part, but it's not the thing.
Right. I think that something so mercurial is hard to catch.
Absolutely.
Unless you have a tremendous budget.
Sure. One of these days. we'll figure it out. By the time this comes out, I can actually say that I'm in Detroit now. I'm not now, but I will be in Detroit by the time this comes out. And who knows? Right. Maybe I can get together with some improv folks who know what the hell they're doing and can improvise in the dark. That would be fun. Who knows? I don't know. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't know what the Detroit comedy scene's like at the moment.
I don't either. I am by now. Hopefully I do, but yeah, I'm feeling it out. I'm talking to some people who know people. It's all third party. Like it's nobody that I've ever necessarily heard of or anything, and no insult to them. It's just that I don't know the scene. So
I sent you the Mike Stanley record, right?
You did, yeah.
He's back and forth between there and Denver. I'll try and connect. He's really more of a straight stand-up than anything.
Mm-hmm. Straight stand-ups make, I'm also looking for actors, and some stand-ups are real good actors. They're real good stage actors.
Yeah, I mean, I can connect you, and you'll see if you two clash or not.
Yeah. Probably not. We'll be fine. We'll be good. I'm pretty amiable, I think.
Right.
Maybe not always. I've been a pain in your ass a couple times, and I know it.
You've never been a pain in my ass.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. Look, we're talking. That's something we'll talk about on this episode, I suppose. Mm-hmm. But we have a current project that's in the works.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Sure. Yeah, it's very slow.
And part of it is, there's all sorts of craziness slowing things down, and it's a tough thing to coordinate. Yeah, the project we're trying to coordinate has many things that make it difficult. Rights holders and slow response times on all sides, including mine.
Sure.
And I actually had the ball's in my court email wise, and talking to you am realizing that and just kicking myself and trying to cover for time.
Oh man, I wish I had the power to make any of that extra shit happen, especially the one thing. I love how we have to talk around this thing since I'm recording it. Are we going to be able to say what it is or no? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's up to you. We can say we're working on it.
Sure.
We can say that it's not final.
Yeah, that's true. The one portion of it that is causing the most difficulty, we don't have to talk about the specifics of, obviously, but
right.
Yeah, so as everybody, well, not everybody, anybody who listens to this show about a year ago heard, was it a year ago? Might have been more than that. We found a couple of records. Dick Davy's his niece, found a couple of his old records sitting around, and they were transferred and cleaned up by Taylor Jessen of Firesign Theater's archive, because he's a sweetheart.
He's the best.
He's such a fucking nice guy, and we're working on getting that released along with some hopeful supplemental material.
The supplemental material is, as they say, where the rub is.
Yeah. It's rough going.
Right. Outside of that supplemental material, all parties are together and harmonized, but the pandemic threw some big wrenches into the works, and then you couple the slowness of what we're dealing with anyway, in the slowness of communication, and I'm excited about the project. I think it's important, but a historical project for a comic who we're revealing to the public makes it not necessarily what I would call an easy sell.
No, of course not.
So when you have things that come in of a higher priority, like, speaking of Taylor, that Firesign Theater reissue.
Sure.
Well, that takes precedent because it's real easy to get that on skis and moving downhill.
Yeah.
When you don't have the complicating factors of what we're looking at for ancillary material, in addition to the two less than LP records that we have,
right.
They're going to combine. with ancillary material into an LP.
Yeah. Yeah. It is complicated. Unless of course we find something else in the meantime that's even better. Who knows? Who fucking this is the problem. Like I tell oh, man, how much can I even say? I will say I have one listener to this podcast who I don't know if they want to shout out or not, but I will say that at the very least that they have hunted down. First of all, they found the ancillary materials for me. They found that.
Oh, okay.
If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have known about it because I think there was a misspell and I had stopped looking for misspells for a while. And the other thing was he's also sent me some interviews with Dick Davy, some other stuff that is out there that I am trying like a bastard to hunt down and see if there's anything in there just for the sake of it and just so I can hear it. But also, who knows? There might be material. He might be performing. Who knows? So I'm gonna keep my ears open.
Well, that certainly throws another complication in the works. And when you throw into the fact that his albums are owned by Sony, who are a bear to license from.
Right.
You know, we can't really do a full box. We have to do just this ancillary material, that the 2 records and the ancillary material we're talking about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, there gets to be legal battles about, like, you know, who owns what. So we have to kind of do it without actually having the actual albums available and being part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that could be a complicating factor is a complicating factor.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're right. Yeah. Otherwise, it would be this nice sort of, speaking of encyclopedias, this nice encyclopedic just chunk of everything he's ever done, basically. And here you go. But yeah, it would be complicated.
Right.
So yeah, there's a Dick Davy record to look out for eventually down the line.
And it's going to be a pretty exciting thing. Hopefully, you know, you and I will have to talk about the jerk it's writing the liner notes at some. The liner notes are written. I just wanted to throw some poop.
That son of a bitch. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah.
The producer's a halfwit too. I can tell you this from experience.
Really, the only good people here are his niece and his widow. You know, very very kind people. You know.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, once this fucking pandemic is over, I'm very excited to finally meet those people in person. That's one thing that I just never got to do. Like,
right.
When I met them, I was like really, basically super poor. And now I'm like poor-ish, but also locked down. But I don't know. It's been a nice relationship. It's been a fun thing, like meeting those people as a result of the podcast. The podcast has given me a lot of that, to be fair. I wouldn't know you without it. I wouldn't know Taylor without it. Taylor reached out to me because he's like, "Oh, I heard you were talking about Firesign on your podcast." He neglected to say, "I heard you, impotently talking about Firesign, not knowing anything about them." He was very nice about it. I think Abraham. Oh yeah, I met Jeff Abraham because I got Kelly Carlin on, and then et cetera, et cetera. Dan Pasternak. I don't know how I met Dan Pasternak, honestly, but through the show somehow. He might have reached out to me. I don't know. Dr. Demento, lots of other people coming up on the show who I can't announce yet until basically the week of, but I did just record the final episode. I will say that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well,
it's weird.
The final episode for now, who knows? There might be special editions coming.
I'm going to have to continue at least doing the history of Firesign and the history of Monty Python with Andre Jacquemin, who produced all the records. So I'm going to have to do that. I would feel bad leaving those up in the air. And, special ones here and there, for sure. Especially, like, once the Dick Davy record comes out, yes, I will toot my own horn and Dick Davy's horn for an hour. Why not? Why would I not?
Absolutely. And, I mean, I'm sure that I'll be tapping you for other promotional purposes as well.
Sounds good.
But, I mean, the official run will be done.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be like, hey, let's get the single podcaster back together again.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, get the solo act back together. That'd be fine with me. That's fine. It's fun to do. That's the problem is, like, I love doing this show, and letting go of it sort of sucks, but also and on having done a few really, really, really good episodes you're super proud of, which I am. There's at least that. And
yeah, all things must pass, and we all got to move on to our future directions. I get that. And
like the other podcasts that I need to do, like, not just artistically, but I need to do personally, is the one that, like, I've talked about a million times, nobody listens to, because it's my best friend and I just fucking off for an hour. But that is also slowly becoming more and more actual comedy that isn't just us being funny with each other. It's becoming like improv. It's becoming bringing people in. And it's like, maybe explore that a little bit. So that's
Right.
another thing I'm doing, is seeing if that can become more of a thing. So who knows? There's
Yeah,
a
it makes
period, Dan, I
perfect
was doing
sense.
5 podcasts a week at one point. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was doing 5 podcasts a week at one point, and that was when I was like, I thought I could keep that up. I don't know how I thought that at all.
Well, naivete, and you have a good studio and good equipment, so
Yeah.
that helps. When
That
you
is
have
true.
stuff on hand.
I've mentioned it before, but Dan's the reason I have the good equipment. So thank you, Dan.
Yeah, but you deserved it, because look at how many podcast episodes you've gotten out of it. It's worth it.
Oh yeah. I haven't I haven't released it yet, but like I do a mini celebration episode with my friend Alex every 100, and we just did the 800th episode, but I'm closer and closer to 900 as I forget to release that episode. So like total between all my shows, I've produced,
between all of them.
I produced, edited, and been in almost 900 episodes of freaking podcasts. So it's a lot.
And there's like 400 some of this one, yeah?
Yeah, the plan was end this at 400, but the number of people who have said, sure, I'll do it before you end it has gotten higher. So it'll still end in November, but that probably means a lot of 2 episodes a week for a while, is what I'm guessing. If it ends up overloaded. If it doesn't, I'll just stop it at exactly 400 and we'll be good.
Wow. Yeah, I just, the fact that you're doing a podcast about 2 subjects that I love, that's what attracted me, and then just finding an album to talk about seemed like totally secondary to getting together with a kindred spirit.
Right.
So I'm always happy to talk comedy records, but to sit in a room with somebody else who gives a damn about comedy records, you don't get to do that all the time.
No. And honestly, most of the time when I have people come on, it's like, oh yeah, I heard one comedy album growing up, or I never heard them on vinyl until I send it to them, because I usually send them like a vinyl rip. So at least they get the crackly poppy experience. So it becomes sometimes a bit of a stretch. So it's you don't always find the people who had that kind of I grew up with comedy on vinyl experience.
Right.
And sometimes I'm introducing it to people. My 300th episode, I didn't know my friend had never heard a comedy album in her entire life. So I just knew she was funny. And so I sent her Lily Tomlin's Modern Scream, and we talked about that for an hour. And that was her first comedy record she'd ever heard. So that was fun.
And now since then, she's ruined her life on $3 records, right?
God, for her sake, I hope not. I hope not.
That's how it started for me, was an offshoot of music, My first, I think we talked about this. I think my first comedy album was a cassette of Eddie Murphy. And I can't remember if it was the self-titled or Comedian. And then shortly thereafter, I stumbled across a cassette of Rodney's, which is No Respect, which was my first episode with you. And like those tapes and watching Carson from the time I was probably 3, when I'd get babysat by my aunt and my cousins in New York, and they totally blew off the instructions of putting me to bed early. So comedy was a very early addiction, but it didn't bubble up as a comedy record thing until those cassettes, closer to they were right on the border of my preteen to early teen years. And then, you couple that with the rise of cable broadcasting of comedy.
Sure.
That's really where it all took a hold, but it was all kind of bubbling in the background. And it didn't really take off for me. I bought the Andrew Dice Clay records, for better or worse. And then I didn't really think about it much until I started stand-up records.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
I had Carlin records. Every once in a while you'd stumble across something, so you'd pick it up. But then, like with stand-up records, it became like, oh, well, goodbye to all this punk rock record collecting stuff. I'm not fighting with all these other people who are just like me anymore. I'm going for something they are not sharp enough to give a damn about yet.
Right. There's sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just curious. It just makes me think of like what the evolution of like comedy loving and comedy records, like from music. There's the obvious, very easy connection to make between jazz and comedy, because the early comedy labels were jazz labels already. I feel like, were you the only guy who was doing punk music that went into comedy music? Because I know there are plenty of like punk groups that also kind of do comedy, but like, what about comedy record people? Is that a common through line, punk?
I think maybe after me, but prior to me, Rick Rubin,
Mm-hmm.
but after me, a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Because I happened to time it weirdly. I did it when I did it, but I did it before Comedy Central started doing it.
Right.
And I know the guy running Comedy Central at the time had his own indie rock music label. So, like, I think a lot of the people since 2000 basically have music backgrounds coming into it, and certainly big music backgrounds more recently.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing what big music did to the music industry.
Sure.
And I'll leave it politely at that.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, I don't know if I told you that because I don't know if I keep having to say, like, no offense, but I'm only subscribed to a certain number of podcasts. So I'm not subscribed to Marin, but I made sure to listen to your episode. And the one thing when I was listening to it, I was like, holy shit, Dan is being so just coldly honest about the record business. I expect you to be honest to my face, but you're just fully like, yeah, no, this is not always a money-making venture. I just really liked the honesty of that interview. I thought it was a really good interview.
Well, thank you. I mean, we met up the week I was there recording with Marin anyway, like a couple times. And I just life is short, and there's no secrets to what I'm doing. Anybody can do what I'm doing. And from what I've seen in the last couple of years, everybody is doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm competing with everyone behind me for whatever that's worth. And that's fine. There's plenty of room in the water. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with that. It's just, when you start shitting in the water that everyone's in, mm-hmm. that's when I have a problem. No, you get out and you go to a bathroom to take a dump. You don't do it where everyone's swimming. And that's when I tend to be mouthy. But, like, there's no dishonesty. And look, honesty is the only thing I have, for better or worse. You go through life, you make friends, you make enemies. But the one thing you can do is you can be an honest person. Yeah. So I'll never be a politician because I'm too honest for that. And that's fine. I don't want to be a politician. I want to make funny records.
Yeah. That's fair. I wonder, like, because I don't know. I don't own any of, like, the Netflix releases, because I know they do that their own way, but those just feel like this glut. They feel so oversaturated because everybody's like, oh, they're doing a fucking comedy special a week. And then now I've seen it looks like they've released a vinyl of just, like, dozens of those specials, which makes it feel much less special to me. Maybe I'm being a whiny baby about it.
I have cynical stuff to say about it for sure.
Yeah.
I know for a fact they're not really getting the vinyl releases out in the time manner they say they are. And so, like, the first Grammy that they won was for a record that wasn't commercially available in the window. They lied and said it was, and they were shipping out test presses.
What the hell?
But no one's going to call them on it because Netflix has a huge amount of money.
Sure.
And the people that they had nominated that year were huge people that no one would, in their right mind, argue didn't deserve a record, mm-hmm. except for the fact that the record wasn't really released in the window for that year.
So shady.
And I know it, but who am I going to? I'm telling the podcast world now, but telling the press. I mean, I called the Wall Street Journal about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was too late. They already ran the article. They couldn't follow it up with that.
Man. Yeah.
And,
it's like,
who am I to say that so-and-so doesn't deserve their award?
Sure.
They deserve their award. They deserve that award whether they're in the window or not. So why lie about the window?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's weird. And I can't tell if there's any love being put into. I mean, they're like there's certain comedy labels that I can trust to put love into it. And I know that obviously some of them are going to be your competitors, but like yours included, there's obviously like, if there's a nice insert, the record looks good. It is just the full experience. And again, this is me being a whiny baby about my preferences. But if I'm going to spend $30 on a record, I want it to be the sexiest thing I can possibly get, the sexiest version of it. And I just get the feeling that the Netflix ones are just like, all right, fucking next one. I don't.
That's not 100% true. They're doing double vinyl of hour-long records, which I don't do double vinyl of hour-long records.
Okay.
But So they're doing that nice, but and I don't want to sound like I'm belittling anyone's success, but does Amy Schumer's leather special deserve a vinyl issue?
Right. Right.
Amy Schumer's a great comic, but that's not her greatest hour.
Right. Right. Yeah. But...
So why would you document that on the most permanent of formats?
Mm-hmm. Unless you're doing them all, which they are.
Unless you're doing every single one of her specials. Yeah.
Yep.
So to me, there's a cynicism there of like, oh, it doesn't matter. We'll make 500. That'll be enough to run for a Grammy, and we will just elbow everyone out. Because it's not like they're making these digital releases for the most part. They might be more recently, but they weren't. They were just doing the LP to get the Grammy and crowd. So you're telling me that like all these famous names only have 500 copies of one LP to their name, and you're running it against wide digital releases?
Yeah.
You're just marketing off their name, and you're just trying to crowd out everyone else. And kudos for you. That's capitalism, but it's also kind of shady.
Yeah. Can I tell you, side note, speaking of cynicism and Amy Schumer, this is not against her at all. This is entirely about me and my production team for my documentary. So I released my documentary a couple years ago, Lords of Soaptown, if you guys want to check it out. It's hard to find because of the distribution system I have set up. But the one thing that the producer, I was like, hey, so I have this footage that I'm trying to hunt down. And they're like, get it to us immediately. We can get it out there much wider. And I'm like, okay, I'll do my best. Back in 2010, 9, one of my co-producers interviewed Amy Schumer and then lost the tape. Like, we're talking like a year and a half, whatever, before she broke. Like, big. And I'm like, can you please find the tape? And they're like, I don't know what I did with it. I'm like, no. And yeah, that honestly would have made the difference, I think, at least in terms of saleability, but entirely cynically. I fully admit it, and I've felt that way the whole time. I like the movie as it is, but it would have been nice to have that name recognition.
Yeah, and let me say, Amy, I am not diminishing you in any
exactly
way.
Same.
You're a great comic, and I have nothing against any of your success. God bless you.
Yeah. But it's about the machine. The machine
it's
is
not about
usually
her
where
at
the
all.
problem
It's
is.
Totally about the machine. And and I might get some bad side eye for that, but whatever. Like I'm gonna hurt Netflix's business.
Right.
Please. Yeah. They're fine.
Mm-hmm. Are there any releases that have come out, I don't know, in the last decade that you're particularly impressed of, by on vinyl?
I tend not to really tear in too much to everyone else's stuff. I tend to collect it and put it on a shelf, but I don't really tear it open and dig through it a lot.
Okay.
So I can't answer that honestly.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't have enough knowledge. I have the records. I just don't know.
This sounds like a compulsion, Dan. It sounds like a compulsive collection habit.
Well, yeah, that's you're not a collector of anything. I have media that I will probably never get to before I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm not in my 20s anymore, so I don't have countless hours.
Right.
In college, when all I had was classes and no obligations, there wasn't a record that went through unlistened to. But now that, I'm older and I have a house and a family and a business that if I'm not paying attention to it doesn't get run, so those things take up all that free time. So if I'm not creating media, I'm not generally taking in albums or podcasts. I'm taking in the pop culture I'm interested in.
Sure.
Which includes a lot of what is now owned by Disney.
Yeah. Yep.
Be it Marvel or whatever, Pixar, you name it. Those are Star Wars. Those are the things that I like, and I liked before Disney owned them.
Man, can I tell you? Okay, here's a maybe a better question, because I think we may have talked about this, and then you can also recuse yourself, especially if you're like, well, maybe I actually want to do that, and I don't want to talk about it right now. But I will say, Like, what are there any weird sideways releases that you have wanted to do that just don't seem possible? Because I know I want someone to do something with that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Miss X or whatever the fuck it was from the first season.
I tried on that. I
Yeah.
tried to do it, and I just couldn't get through.
Yeah.
And I feel like the moment's gone.
Probably.
I just, I really wanted to do that. I wanted to do the reel to reel in the exact edition number that they were talking about on the TV.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the bootleg record, and I just could not make a contact happen. And, you know, I'm not a major corporation. I'm a dude in Minnesota that just happens to love comedy.
I don't know if we should cut this out, but I will at the very least tell you I have been pursuing the prop people like a fucking hound in the nicest way possible. But they cut a record for that scene. They told me they cut a record. So there's a physical record that exists. Can't be a full thing. There's no way it's a full thing. It's got to be just a few minutes of whatever. But they cut something, and I know the prop people. And I just feel like if I got... It's impossible to get to Amy Sherman Palladino. But if you got sideways to somebody else... yeah, but I get it. Maybe the time
I would take any connection I could get, and I would consider doing more than just what's on the records if they have it, because you know they film footage. But you know, getting that connection, I wanted to do that 100 reels so bad.
Sure,
that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to make it look exactly like it did in the TV show. I wanted to do that bootleg record the exact same way. Yeah. And I feel like they don't spend enough time talking about that stuff. And it's like, I love the show, but you know, how many times do we need to hear that everyone's impressed with her and the sun shines out of her ass?
I know.
And I'm saying this as someone who loves the show, but like, don't just make it that. Make it the comedy and the nuts and bolts and. I don't know. Just me. It's just a difference in what I see versus what they're doing for a real wide audience, which, you know, most wide audience might not care about what I care about. But if the sun does indeed shine out of her ass and she's perfect in every way, the audience will follow.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Yeah, she's it's a complicated situation because there's the argument to be made that the jokes they're writing for her aren't funny to us. Either because they're not actually funny or because they're written 60s funny. I don't know if either of those is true. I still like the show. I like the show a ton too, but I am fluctuating on whether or not that character is funny, and I think mostly probably not. But it's a weird situation.
There are definite things that were written that were funny.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to go through and highlight them all because my memory's not that good. But
sure.
There were definite things that I think would have carried, and I wouldn't have pursued the concept if it hadn't struck me as like, oh, this is funny. Because if it's just about sales, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't look. I pursued it because I wanted to make 100 reel to reels. I didn't pursue it because I wanted to make thousands or millions or whatever CDs or downloads. I wanted to do the thing.
Yeah.
So I'll give you one other lost project that I couldn't make happen for the life of me. And we've discussed this before. I wanted to do a 2 to 4 minute long oldest recording of the 2,000-year-old man on a wax cylinder.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that so bad. And both of them were still alive. We lost Carl Reiner. Both of them were still alive. And there's just so many layers of protection. All I wanted was like one question that would have been 2 to 4 minutes in total, which might be a lot of material and not worth their time. But to present it as the oldest known recording of the 2,000-year-old man, recorded a good 80 years before the later interviews.
Yeah, I've always
it
loved
would have
that
been
idea.
some, you know, we could have portrayed Carl Reiner as Thomas Edison. You know, and it would have been this wonderful. And I was going to do it a cylinder in a lavish box with a metal latch and engraved, you know. And if the thing happened to go longer than 2 to 4 minutes, we would include a download card.
Yeah, there you go.
But a wax cylinder can only hold 2 to 4 minutes.
Right.
And who the hell, like, you make 100 of those.
Yeah.
most people won't buy them because they have a wax cylinder player.
Right. No,
They'll
of
buy
course
them
not.
because it's a fucking crazy object.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't close the deal. I couldn't close the deal. I couldn't close the deal. Couldn't make the contact to pitch the deal.
Right.
It was
Right.
just dead end after dead end after dead end. And I understand these were two of the hugest names in Hollywood comedy history. I knew that.
Yeah.
But I thought if I could get to them somehow directly,
Mm-hmm.
the idea would have been too appealing to them not to.
Mm-hmm. You're probably not wrong. Yeah, I will tell you, like, my stumbling block with the both of them has been, and I get this. I'm in no way saying that this is a problem. Assistants, and or managers, but usually assistants, and they pass it on, and then it's like, well, this can't happen, and it sort of snowballs out of control because you try, and eventually it's like you're at the bottom of the pile of requests, and.
Well, I mean, there's gatekeepers and all that. I understand that. I understand the purpose of it. And the reason people like that have gatekeepers is generally because they're super nice and want to do things.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
So, I mean, I get that. But like this one, I think this one would have really tickled them.
I know.
And I don't know how to get a hold of Mel Brooks to even try. And, he wouldn't do it without Carl anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, that was my thought too. Is like, Rob is funny. I don't know. Could Rob Reiner, would he? And then, would Mel want to without Carl Reiner? Probably not. But,
well, Rob is no Carl, but that's not diminishing either one. But at least there's the connection.
Sure.
Believe me, if I could make that happen tomorrow,
mm-hmm.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I would, in a quarantine, hop on a plane with a recording engineer.
Of course.
Get there, set it up, make the recording happen, record the recording into a horn if I had to make it genuine.
Mm-hmm. I just had a guest on yesterday. Oh, yeah, so by the time this has come out, this will be, again, months later. I interviewed a guy named Corey Ryan Forrester, who's a very funny Southern comic who turns out is also a big Mel Brooks fan. And I was going to ask him the question I normally say, hey, have you ever had a chance to meet such and such person? And before I could even get it out, he was like, oh, yeah, he sang to me happy birthday on my 31st birthday. And I wanted to reach through the screen and strangle him. I was so jealous. I was just so that he got to hang out with a 90-something Mel Brooks who, danced and sang for him. I was like, Jesus.
I have a friend who hung out with the both of them, and he knew I wanted the project. He's like, look, I got to hang out with both of them. I wasn't about to bring up other stuff. I go, I get it.
Of course. Yeah.
I get it. And, that was the closest I was going to get.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Mel Brooks, it would be very hard because to say he's foundational in my comedy,
mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to put it, pantheon, I guess. He's damn near God.
Yeah, same.
He's not God. He's definitely Moses.
He's 15, 10 commandments.
Exactly. And, God, I just,
Yep.
Some of my earliest memories in comedy were seeing the ad in the newspaper for Blazing Saddles where, he's wearing the big feather headdress,
mm-hmm.
and in the beadwork, there's Hebrew letters.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I was just like, oh my God, what is this? Even as a 4-year-old or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was very aware, very young of who I was.
Yeah.
So to see that in a newspaper,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that was, dear God, that was something.
I mean, there's something about, I don't know. Again, there's no, I can't, every time he comes up, I never have the proper words for it. I have, well, you've been here. You've seen my Blazing Saddles poster. I have 2 other posters that I don't have the room to hang up. One of them is a Subway poster, but it's in shit condition, but I still want to get it framed. Maybe fixed. I think it would cost a lot more money to fix it than buy a fresh one somewhere that's in better shape. But yeah, that's one. I mean, again, there's all those little details that you only get. Although I guess you can, like you said, you can see the Hebrew lettering even in a small print, but there's so many small details in that poster. There's a plane going by. There's an airplane flying at the bottom of it that you can't really notice.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's a jet. There's for no reason. It's just to be like, hey, by the way, this is a movie. I love. There's just so much about that film. Sorry, I just accidentally made another episode about Blazing Saddles. I can't do it again. That's
No, well, I mean, between that and Young Frankenstein, let alone the other movies,
yeah.
like silent film, having Marcel Marceau be the only person to speak, and then recently for me to find out, and I probably knew this in a past version of myself, but to know that Marcel Marceau was Jewish and smuggled kids out of France, and that's why part of why he learned how to pantomime was to keep the kids entertained and quiet.
Holy shit! Are you fucking kidding me?
Not kidding at all.
How has a movie not been made about him immediately? Why has this not happened?
Because who the hell are you going to get to be as talented?
I know. Yeah, it'll end up being some fucking schmuck. It would have to be a nobody who's spent their entire life dedicating, their life to pantomime, somebody you don't know, and therefore it wouldn't sell because it's not a big enough name. That's insane.
Right. And like
shit.
knowing that, it's like that makes even more sense as to why he had Marcel Marceau in.
Come on.
You have the Jewish connection, the World War II connection, the comedy connection. So that kind of stuff, when you hear about it later on, makes it more meaningful. I mean, Richard Pryor being a co-writer in Blazing Saddles makes it mean that much more to me now.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein, using all of the people before they aged out of movie making, for the lighting and the effects and the costumes and the sets and the cinematography to get it all perfect to the 1930s horror movies. Like, I could ask endless amounts of questions about that stuff and not have it be like that Star Trek William Shatner SNL sketch. I could actually literally sit and ask that stuff and be interested and think I was learning for real. And that's not even to begin with any other aspect of his career, with either before or after your show of shows or anything, to be or not to be, or anything.
Yeah. I've had, like, even when I've had other influences come along since then, he still reigns above them all because I don't know. Did I tell you that I played Hedley Lamarr on stage? I brag about that a lot. It's one of my favorite moments that I've ever done. And Dark Helmet from Spaceballs, which is one of my last, that one's a weird one for me, but I like it enough. But I did get to play Dark Helmet.
I will tell you, during the pandemic, somebody bought me a gift that I would have never bought for myself. And it's, it's not officially licensed or anything, but it's Spaceballs, the mask. And I couldn't have been more tickled to get a gift.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect. Yeah, it's the same thing. I wouldn't either, but if you gave that to me, I'd be like, oh, this is a brilliant piece of work right here.
Yeah, exactly. So, him, Bill Gaines from Mad Magazine, these are like Groucho Marx. They're the foundational elements of the constellation that matters to me. Yeah. And that's outside of straight up stand up.
What did you think we were going to talk about today? Got any thoughts? Anything you wanted to bring up so that I don't?
I thought we might talk potentially about what it takes to make a vinyl record, but I don't know how. It's a dry industrial process, so maybe it'd be better to cut to an industrial film. I've toured a lot of vinyl manufacturing plants.
Yeah.
And, both of the old school, really gritty, dirty, dirt floor type, and of the new, ultra modern, quote unquote, eco-friendly presses. And I don't think I'm done touring vinyl pressing plants, even though I know damn near everything there is to know at this point.
Yeah.
There's something about the hissing and steam and the parts moving and the vinyl extruding and
I've never been to one. That's something I would love to do. And I mean, now that I'm in Detroit, maybe I can get the Third Man tour, but
there's Third Man in Detroit and there's also Archer in Detroit.
Okay.
You missed the best opportunities at like A&R and Bill Smith in Los Angeles and Rainbow.
Yeah, it's one of those things I never thought to look up and be like, hey, can I come over and see you make some fucking records? It just never occurred to me.
A&R was in Dallas. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. There we go.
But Bill
That's fine.
Smith, I mean, like, I think Erica Records might still manufacture vinyl, so you might want to. They're in Downey. They're not far from you.
Oh, okay. All right.
You might want to check with them, give them a ring, and see if it's something you could tour,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
insert that into this point in our podcast.
Perfect. No, we could talk about it. We could talk about it. Like, why are beyond your love of the thing as an art form? Why are you so fascinated with the actual process of making it?
I've always liked industrial machinery because my dad worked in textiles.
Okay.
So the couple times I visited him at work before I wound up working for him, it was always like an impressive, scary thing to see an industrial process. And, I knew about that stuff a little bit as a kid. And then I went and toured the Hershey factory as a field trip in grade school. So, like, industrial processes, and another field trip was like to a McDonald's. I think that was like second grade or first grade,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw how burgers were made the old way before it was just like steam it until it's ready and then pull it out of a drawer.
Sure.
Um, so I've always enjoyed that. The way things are made is always something interesting to me. I went to the Louisville Slugger plant a couple of years ago before the pandemic. I always like that kind of thing because it's always interesting to see. It's magic that you have the thing, but how's it made? That's where the magic really is.
Yeah, yeah.
And for me, vinyl is this thing that why can't I just get one made?
Yeah.
Well, once you see how it's made, it makes a lot more sense because you actually have to tear apart a machine and put pieces on it and calibrate it and run it through a few times and figure out if those are any good.
Yeah.
There's no way to put just one.
Right. Right. You're now making me think. I have another release that someone should do. Have you seen A Mighty Wind?
Oh yeah.
There's a bit where I don't remember who was talking about it. One of those fucking delightful idiots, and they're like, the record didn't even have a hole in the middle. If you just teetered it carefully, you might get a good sound. You had to punch your own hole in it. I would love to see a Folksman record with no hole in the center. That would be
that's
unplayable.
Really hard to do.
I'm sure it is, but I'm locking it away because I feel like that is the thing I want to see desperately.
Yeah, that one you have to get a plant ready to really hack apart their machinery to do right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be fun. The other thing is multiple holes in a label. You can see that sometimes.
Sure, yeah. What is the purpose of that? How does that happen?
I think the purpose of it is just to be a jerk.
Just to throw somebody
because
off.
It won't play right at all.
Right. Yeah, it'll be that the whole time. I love that.
Doppler effect record.
Do you have a favorite, speaking of that, like a favorite special, like, the 3 tracks or the 2 tracks on one side for Python? Is there any interesting let's fuck with the record's physicality that you can think of?
I like all of that stuff. I like the double track or multiple tracks on one side wherever the needle falls. Like there's a horse racing record that has 12 or 16 different versions.
It's a Ronco thing. I want to get one.
Right. So you have that. You have Matching Tie and Handkerchief, which has 2 grooves on one side.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have like a special vinyl. You have to have a special dude who knows what he's doing do that.
Yeah.
Because you have to cut the side length in half basically to get double the groove on there.
Sure.
And then like I did Lewis Black's Revolver EP, Play from the Label Out.
Oh, okay. Right.
And then on David Ross's It's Not Funny, the thing I did, there's a hidden track on the CD.
Uh-huh.
And the way you do that is you just put a lot of space between it, right?
Oh, sure.
And the track, the actual last track. Well, on the vinyl, what I did was on the second side, the record plays to a locked groove. And it ends at that locked groove. But if you pick up the needle and then drop it towards the label, it'll play backwards to the same locked groove and play that extra track.
I love it. That's great. All right. That's really good.
Yeah, I like that trick. I'm going to be using it again for a funny band record I'm doing for a band that broke up years ago. I can announce that here. I don't have a release date, but there was a band from Minneapolis an offshoot of the punk group the Soviets. Their rhythm section, Annie and Danny, they formed a separate band called Awesome Snakes. And all of Awesome Snakes songs are either about snakes or things that are awesome.
Perfect.
So, and they're great. They're high energy. The whole EP, the whole album is like 33 minutes, I think. So we're going to include a cassette-only single, or I think it might have been digital-only single. And we're going to include 2 songs per side, and they're going to use that same David Cross trick.
Love it. That's good. That's a fun trick. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do that. Because I have 2 records with locked grooves. One of them is because it's a radio record, so that you don't go past it. And then the other one is that record that I am releasing, the A Gift You Never Asked For from Friends You Never Had. But their lock groove is on a word, and it's intentional, and it's part of the whole fucking narrative, and it's one of the best things I've ever. It's very Fire Sign. It's very heady, and it's good. It's a good.
That's
thing.
Great. That's one of yours.
It's the one that I am releasing. They have their own records ready to go, but I am helping them sell the vinyl and the digital through Celery Sound so that they can just get it out there a little more. Because they were kind enough to send me a copy. There's some other people I wouldn't know because of this without this podcast. They're like, hey, we hope you appreciate this, and they spent like 4 years fucking making their own record and self-funding it, and it's great. It's too good. It's too good, and that bit was like, that sold me. I was like, oh, you fuckers, it's too good of a bit.
Well, let me know when that's up. I'll pick up a copy.
Oh, it's out there. It's out there. That one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can get it at celerysoundrecords.com. Also, I think the link from Celery Sound goes right to their Bandcamp, which is where you actually purchase it. So, and they're selling it for way too cheap. But, it's good. It's good.
Well, if you have that opportunity and you can do it, you should do it, If you don't mind taking a loss, that's fine. But yeah, I enjoy the whole process of making a record. The only thing I don't enjoy is the length of time it takes to get it from start to finish, which goes through the vagaries of demand. And right now there's high demand, and you couple that with the fact that one of the places that makes the masters, the biggest place that makes the masters, burnt down.
It's crazy. That is
so
crazy.
You couple that with increased demand, and it's just weeks and weeks. I called the place I deal with here locally, and they're like, I called them last month, which was April. And they said, we're not pressing anything new until October, November.
Damn.
And I was like,
shit.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
And even other places that are faster, like 10 to 12 weeks from when you approve the test pressing.
Wow. This is a complicated business.
It makes it very hard to schedule.
And this is, I think you discussed this. If you just wanted to release a bunch of fucking, CDs, it would take nothing because it's easy. It's a simple process.
Right. CDs are easy. And look, if you're going to do that now, you deserve some kudos now because, everyone will tell you, I don't even have anything to play that on. It's like, okay, yeah, you don't watch TV. Good for you. I'll just sit here, roll my eyes, and make the jerk-off motion. Congratulations, Professor.
Yeah, it's like the only reason I even ever default to digital is if I'm in a rush. If I haven't had a chance to listen to a record and put it on, or sift through 500 records to realize where I put it, which is in a bad place usually. I never alphabetize anything properly, so I'll default to digital for that. But I don't know. I don't know. Having the thing there makes me appreciate it a little more. It is.
I make digital only releases some fairly often lately because that's what the market demands. And if comics aren't touring during a pandemic,
of course,
then why would you make a CD for them to sell live that they're only going to tell you, I can't sell CDs. Everyone rolls their eyes at it. And it's like, you can say as much as you want in the press about how vinyl sales are great and CD sales are falling, but that's like a sign of illness in the record industry. I can walk through the numbers of why that's all horrible news and not great news to be celebrated.
Right.
I'm glad vinyl's selling more, but when vinyl sells for double or over what a CD sells for, and you're only talking about the dollar amounts, not the unit amounts. So one CD, one LP is worth 2+ CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So if CD sales are falling in number wise, sales number wise, and vinyl's outpacing it, that means the overall amount of units is down a staggering amount.
Right. Yeah, that makes
Which
logical sense.
Which is, and if you say it's outpacing downloads, that's even worse because a download at retail is a third of the price of an LP.
Yeah, yeah.
So that means they're only counting dollars; they're not counting units.
Mm-hmm.
So $130 LP is 3,999 downloads.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's horrible news. That means overall sales are down, and no one is able to push units.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it's a harsh reality that doesn't quite. It's one of the funniest things is I stopped paying attention to. Once I started the podcast, I started a Google News alert for like vinyl comedy. And for the first 8-9 years of the podcast, once every 2 weeks, there would be hey, vinyl's having a comeback for the first 9 years of me having this show, because it becomes a new story for everybody, as though it's this massive thing. And then when you hear the real reality of it, it's like, yeah, sure, there's more vinyl maybe than there was a while ago, but it's not the way you're pitching it. It's not what it was.
Oh, you mean if you're lucky, you can sell 500 units of an LP, whereas like 20 years ago, you could probably sell 30,000?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not.
And that's if you're a big act. In comedy, it wasn't like that. In comedy, you're lucky to move 500 to 1,000 units because it's not music. It's not Lady Gaga. It's not Taylor Swift. It's not whoever else is big, you K-pop band or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not Sturgill Simpson even. People don't buy comedy albums the way they buy music albums.
Right.
And they certainly don't as much as I agree with this being a comedy person. You don't re-listen to them as much as you listen to your favorite song.
No.
It's a different thing, but if you want a permanent record of it, you buy the record.
Yeah.
But so demand for comedy, like selling we say limited edition of 500, but is it, is it really a limited edition? There are 500 made, but it might be unlimited. You might have 300 of those forever.
Yeah. Yeah. When do you think the last time the business did first family numbers was? I mean, like in a year selling 7.5 million actual physical records for one record.
For comedy, probably never since then.
Right?
I don't think I'd have to look. I don't think Steve Martin sold 7.5 million.
Yeah.
He might have. There's a lot of them out there.
Right. But there's not like there is the first family. I own 20 copies for a reason because they're everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Firesign did really good numbers, but I don't know what those numbers were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was a different time. Vinyl was like $3 then to buy an album.
Yeah.
So at retail, you'd find them at like Kresge's for like $1.98.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Places like that, Woolworths and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
But when you're selling a $30 record, even though it's probably the same monetarily value-wise as the $3 was back in the early 70s, it's a much harder deal.
Yeah.
You only do it because you love it.
For sure. Yeah, it hadn't occurred to me until recently where I was like, I talk enough about that record, but the sheer number, I think I was like, yeah, of course people have surpassed it since then, but maybe not. Maybe not. There's a half a chance. And yeah,
I don't think anything has sound scanned that high since. I doubt Dane Cook has gone that high. Right. I mean, I know he's in the millions because his record went platinum, but I don't think it went 7 times platinum.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna have to dig on this at the last minute. This do you is there anything coming up you're looking forward to? It can be something of your own.
I'm looking forward to that Awesome Snakes record.
Sounds great.
I'm about to reissue a split single of Kyle Kinane and a band from Minneapolis called The Slow Death.
Awesome.
So that's in the works now. I'm currently locking down. The rights are locked down, and we're currently getting all of the old version pulled down. The new version isn't going to be different on an audio front. It's just going to be the same record, but like, understand up. I'll tell you something funny. I'll tell you a funny Kyle Kinane story.
Please.
So I've known him for a long time. I don't even know how many years at this point. Probably it's less than 20. It's definitely more than 10. I can't, I don't know. Anyway, I used to see him almost every year at South by Southwest in Texas. And one year I go to a show and a dude pulls up next to me. And, Kyle's got this kind of beard most of the time. Or usually his beard is beautifully shaped to look like a Russian czar's beard.
Sure.
I'm envious of the fact that he could shape it that well. But, lately he's been sporting the good old Rasputin. And so I'm at a show at South by Southwest, a rock show, I think. And a guy pulls up next to me, a shorter guy, baseball hat, clean shaven. And we're standing there rocking along. And I notice he's there holding a beer. And in between songs, he goes, "Hey, Dan." I look at him, I go, "Hey." And I kind of go back to looking at the stage. And he goes, "Hey, Dan." I look back at him. "Yeah." He goes, "It's me, Kyle." And I just had to go like, holy shit, it is you. No beard. He was unrecognizable. Just he just looked like a regular rock fan.
Yeah. I am surprised though that voice didn't throw you. Maybe in a loud room it doesn't sound as raspy.
It was a loud outdoor venue.
Shave my beard.
Well, no, there's been times where there was a different time I was walking in Austin and I hear two people go, "Hey, Dan." And I look around and I can't see anybody. So I just keep walking. And I find out like a year and a half later, it was Kinane and Matt Donger. It's not like they yelled, "Hey, over here, dummy."
Right.
They didn't do that part.
Right. Do you have anything else you want to cover on this, our final regular episode of Comedy on Vinyl, Dan?
I have things I want to talk to you about that aren't for the public yet.
Fair enough.
But, I don't want the conversation to end because I don't want the show to end.
I appreciate
that.
Though.
And I mean, not just our episode of the show. I don't want this to end. I enjoy sitting here and talking to you.
Yeah.
But I don't want the show to end. And I understand and respect the decision that it's time to move on. I've had that in my life too.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to bag on you there, but I am desperately going to miss the show.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. That doesn't mean an awful lot. I'm very bad at receiving such compliments, but thank you. That does mean a lot.
Absolutely. And you know me. You know that I'm not just pulling a leg here.
No. You're a very sincere person. That is one thing that I've always admired about you. Honesty and sincerity, like it is. It's refreshing because it's. Well, I live in LA, so you know where that's gonna go.
I know exactly.
Well, Dan, this is coming out November 2nd or so, somewhere around there. Got anything you want to promote? Tell people where to find you and your company.
First off, you can find us at standuprecords.com. Also on the Twitter and the Instagram at standuprecords and facebook.com/standuprecords. All run together.
Your Instagram's a good follow. I'm not on Instagram a lot, but there are not a lot of like company Instagrams that I give a fuck about. But you put out a lot of good stuff, and it's obviously informative of the stuff you're releasing, but it's always like visually interesting. So come on, follow him, everybody.
Well, I try to make it not just business. It's more it's partially my personal one as well. I don't want to have a separate one because this business is me.
Yeah.
At least at this point in time, it is. So I want to maintain that personal feel, and I tend to like weird things, so I try to photograph weird things and rebroadcast folks on my label, as well as posting the stuff that promotes our albums.
Yeah, of course.
Honestly, out of all the social media, I like Instagram the most.
Yeah, same. I'm bad at it, but I like flipping through people's stuff. I'm very bad at it, but I like watching people's stuff.
Oh, I like it for the navel gazing of just putting my own stuff up.
Oh yeah, sure. That's also fair. Yeah. If I spent more time like just putting up my art over the last few years, maybe I'd enjoy. Maybe I just should do that. I should just do that. Put up shit I've made. Dan, thank you for being here again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Fourth time?
I think so. That makes sense.
This is great. I always enjoy this. I wish it was in person.
Same. Same. We'll do it. We'll do it again. We'll do a special episode at some point. We have to. Also, thank you for making the show sound good and making it possible.
Absolutely.
The first 4 years of this show or something, my good buddy Mike Warden lent me his small recorder, and not to shit on it, it just didn't sound like this stuff sounds. He very kindly, I wouldn't have had a show if it weren't for Mike, and then I wouldn't have had a show that continued to sound, that started to sound really good if it wasn't for you. So I appreciate that.
I was glad to be a part of it.
Thank you guys for listening, and as always, have a good thing. Comedy on Vinyl is a production of StolenDress Entertainment. It is produced by Mike Warden and is hosted and edited by Jason Klom. Our theme song was composed and performed by Richard Levinson. You can email us at podcast@comedyonvinyl.com. You can also send snail mail to P.O. Box 725-165, Berkeley, Michigan 48072. Subscribe to Comedy on Vinyl on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you can find podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and write us a review. It helps. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Comedy on Vinyl, or find everything in one place at comedyonvinyl.com. A major portion of Comedy on Vinyl has been underwritten by Stand Up Records. Please visit standuprecords.com for all your comedy needs, and tune in to the new Stand Up Records channel available on the Roku, where you can also find select episodes of this podcast. Visit StolenDress.com to listen to our other podcasts, watch videos, and imbibe freely of our multimedia content going back 15 plus years. StolenDress Entertainment.
Hey, it's my turn. Ah!